I'm in a recording mood right now, and I have recorded 3 other videos, so I'm recording a 4th one, and this is another movie one, because I really want to talk about this movie. It's actually a really well done movie. I mean, it was made in 1993, and it's James Cameron, so it's incredibly lengthy. It's like 2 hours and 50 minutes, it's like right around 3 hours, and it's good. I mean, I have nothing. My only like negative thing about it is I was lied to, because everybody I talked to about it was all like, "Hey, if you like alien movies, this movie's for you." The aliens like don't show up until like the very end of the movie, and they don't really do anything. That's it. Like the whole time I'm waiting for the aliens, they don't show up till the very end. The whole point, the whole premise of the movie is basically these oil drillers, these underwater like explorers, oil drillers, whatever, have essentially the International Space Station, but it's underwater. Like they have this like new tech that allows this like underwater station to be underwater, and so it's this big group of people, and they're exploring under the sea, they're at the bottom of the ocean, and then they get hired by the military to find a lost nuclear sub. And so the military then sends down this like squad of like 3 soldiers to oversee them going and finding the sub. And then like a storm is like approaching the surface, so they lose contact with the top of like the boat with like the other military, the other soldiers, and then the rest of the crew of the oil drillers who are obviously on the surface. And so basically what this movie is it's cabin fever underwater with a little bit of aliens. And so what ends up happening is the storm ends up knocking down a cargo crane that's on the top ship, and ends up crashing into the station underwater and it causes damage, flooding, and there's a whole bunch of cabin fever. One of the military the squad leader goes like insane. The 2 others kind of follow him, but then like the group comes together and like beats the 2 others, and then like a whole underwater chase scene ensues where there's 2 subs. There are 2 subs, and one is piloted by the husband and wife, and one is piloted by the military guy, the army guy. I don't know why I keep saying military guy. And they're like chasing him. It's like the slow underwater chase scene where like the military guy who's the army guy who's the bad guy in this scenario is killed. Now, what leads to that situation? Well, what's happening is these aliens can like move water, and they're basically water benders, and they like sneak on board the station, and they come across the group of oil, like the oil driller group. They come across. I'll just call them Group B, and then Group A, and Group B is going to be the soldiers. So Group A sees them, and they're like, "Dude, like this is awesome. They want to be. They're friendly. They're friendly." Now the aliens like, "Oh, friendly," until the end. Wait for that. But then the Group B, the army guys, find out, and like the leader wants to nuke them. So they end up recovering this nuclear warhead from the submarine, because they do end up finding it, and then they like want to strap it to I don't know what they strap to, like something that helps it sink, because they're gonna bomb the aliens that are like they're underwater, like even further down, they're like way far down at the bottom of the ocean. And so that's why the chase scene ensues, is because like the Group A is like, no, you can't do that, they're aliens, you can't do that, they're friendly. And then typical army guys are just like, nah, fuck that, dude, if it ain't American, let's fucking blow it up, basically. And so there's two like mini subs inside the hangar bay, and the like fucking military, like the squad leader, straps the bomb to the first sub and goes to like take it down there. And then the wife or the husband, whatever, I think both of them end up in it. They go down and they go to chase him, and they end up like beating him, and he gets like he gets crushed. Implosion kills him basically because he goes too far deep and like he gets imploded. It's a 3-hour movie. They had to fill it with all kinds of stuff. So then what's up is the wife gets like stuck in the sub, and the husband's wearing the only scuba gear that's like on board the fucking like station. So he pulls her to safety in the she essentially drowns basically. And there's a whole, I swear to God, like 10-minute scene of him just doing CPR to her. There's like she ends up living, but like he does like a whole there's like a whole scene. It's like 10 minutes long of him doing CPR to his wife, which I can understand. He doesn't want to lose. Now, technically they're divorced, but they end up falling in love with each other in this movie. Now, one thing I thought was pretty funny is that when Man Bear Pig chokes out Kyle and like kills Kyle, Cartman is like doing CPR, and he's like, "No, he wants to live. Fight! You've never given up on anything like before." And he like slaps him around. The abyss is what that's from. when the husband brings his wife back into the bay of the station, she was exposed. She wasn't wearing a scuba suit. This guy just drags her out of the submarine before it implodes, and you know, she's like not wearing any scuba gear. She's just wearing normal clothes, so she ends up like drowning. And he's like, she wants, you know, you want to live, fight, and like does like CPR and everything. And then she obviously wakes up, and it's like a whole like heartfelt scene. And then it turns right around later on, the husband decides that he's got to go down to depths that are impossible to go to without a submarine. Like, you can't go down there in a scuba suit. And he ends up going down these depths in a scuba suit. And he does good. He's like talking through like a text message on his wrist. And then he ends up obviously succumbing to the pressure and passes out. And everyone thinks he's dead. Now, what ends up happening is, this is where the aliens come in. This is the last 20 minutes of the movie. We finally get to see the aliens. The aliens are like, they save him, they take him into their ship that's underwater, and then the aliens just like, instead of being nice, you find out that the fucking army guys were right in the first place, because the aliens are like, we can control the water. And they're like making tidal waves or tsunamis happen all over the world because they believe humanity is not worthy of living. So they like go for mass extinction. And then like, it's revealed that the aliens were watching over the husband, texts his wife and being like, I love you, and like saying, they're like being so sweet to each other. And that's when the aliens just decide that, oh, we see that humans are capable of love, so we're just going to like pull back the tsunamis. Like, the tsunamis come in and like they're like hundreds of feet high, and everyone's staring at them, and then they just stop, and they're just overlooking like all this land, and and everyone on land is just like, what the fuck is going on? And then all the waves dissipate back into the ocean because the aliens are basically like, we're gonna wipe it all of humanity. And like, he gets like, the husband gets all like, he's like, you can't do that, you can't make that judgment. And the alien's like, hey, psych, we saw what you would do with your wife. You know, you said you loved her, and we saw that, so we know humans are capable of love. So down go the tidal waves, or the tsunamis. And then the alien ship rises to the surface, and it carries the station back to the surface, because the station obviously was damaged, so they have no way of getting back to the surface. So like, the alien ship rises, and it's like a happy ending for the most part. You don't even really see the aliens. Everyone on the station thought the husband was dead. They like get out onto the alien ship, and they're like, look, and the husband comes walking out of the ship, and then the movie basically ends. That was like kind of a 7-minute review, a discussion about a 3-hour movie. There's just a lot to go through, so I just kind of talked about the main points, essentially. I might be forgetting some shit, because honestly, it was, I won't say it's a bad movie. It definitely isn't one of my top 10s. James Cameron, I think, definitely used a lot of the techniques in that movie for Titanic, because that movie is also filmed completely like in water and shit like that. It's actually, the effects and everything are actually really well done for a 90s movie, if I'm being honest. Especially an early 90s movie. This was like 1993, I think. If you want to sit through a almost 3-hour movie that promises aliens, but the aliens don't show up until the last like 20 minutes. I mean, you get little previews of them, but it's the aliens controlling water, and then the water is like the aliens. That's pretty much it. The gist of it is, U.S. Army decides to hire oil rig crew to find a missing sub. They find a missing sub. They extract the nuclear warhead. Then the army guy, the lead army guy, goes crazy and thinks, oh, we gotta nuke these aliens. So he ties the warhead to the submarine, goes out to bomb it. Then he fails and dies, and then there's 2 false deaths. The husband and wife, they each almost experience death, and then they're ultimately saved. So nobody actually dies except for the bad guy. The guy's gonna go bomb the aliens, but they find out that he's kind of sort of right, because the aliens were gonna wipe out all of humanity with water. So I definitely could say I enjoyed it. It's just definitely not my top 10. Not a bad movie. Feel free to check it out if you can find it. Again, I've heard that it's hard to find. I guess it's just not a popular movie by demand. So I don't know, maybe you can find it on YouTube Movies. I really don't know. I haven't looked around for it. Well, hopefully you guys all enjoyed this video. Little kind of 7-minute review on a movie that maybe a lot of you haven't seen. I'll see y'all later in a brand new one. I think I touched on all the main points. A lot of the main points at the very least on this. Have a good day. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, stay awesome, everybody.